I opened my eyes to the reality of the clutter in my home when I realized I could barely find my things. I was spending money buying items I already had but couldn't find amidst the mess. My bank account was decreasing while my cabinets overflowed. That's when I discovered that in the Japanese lifestyle, every corner of the home has a clear purpose, and spaces filled with junk block not only our movement, but also the flow of money. Did you know there are 3 places in your home that might be stifling your prosperity right now? I'm not talking about superstitions or complicated matters. I'm referring to areas that, when disorganized, create real blockages in your everyday life and in your finances. When I organized these 3 specific corners in my home, I started saving time searching for things, stopped buying duplicate items, and began to appreciate what I already have more. The result? My relationship with money changed completely. Today I'll show you exactly what I did, without complications, without difficult terms, just practical solutions that worked for me and can work for you too. The first corner of your home that might be blocking your prosperity is the entryway. Think of it as the mouth through which everything enters your life, including opportunities for financial growth. When my entryway was always filled with scattered shoes, piled up mail, and tossed bags, I noticed that good opportunities seemed to overlook me. Bills came in, but opportunities stayed outside. The transformation began when I created a simple system, a specific place for everything. I got a small, discreet shoe rack for just the shoes I wear daily, while the rest went into the bedroom closet. I installed a hook for each family member to hang their bag or backpack. And most importantly, I got a beautiful tray or box for all the mail and bills. When you walk into your home and find everything in its place, your mind feels lighter. You don't start your relaxation already irritated by the mess. And when your bills are organized, you won't forget to pay them, avoiding unnecessary interest charges. It was one of the first areas I organized, and it made an incredible difference in my finances. The second area that directly affects your prosperity is the kitchen, especially the refrigerator and the cabinets. How many times have you bought food you already had because you couldn't see what was at the back of the fridge? Or let fruits and vegetables spoil because you forgot they were there? That was my case, and throwing food away felt like throwing money in the trash. I solved this problem by using clear storage bins in the fridge, categorizing the food, proteins, vegetables, fruits, dairy products. Before I head to the supermarket, I take a picture of the open fridge to remember what I already have at home. In the cabinets, I place the items I use most at the front and those with the closest expiration dates prominently displayed. To keep track of the stock, I did something very simple. I made a list on the refrigerator door where I note what's running low. That way, I never bought something I already had, and I reduced food waste to almost zero. You wouldn't believe how much I saved just with this change. The third critical area for your prosperity is where you keep your documents and manage your finances. For many people, this is a drawer stuffed with papers, crumpled bank statements, and overdue bills. In my home, it was a shoebox where I tossed everything related to money. The result? I paid bills late, missed discount deadlines, and had no idea what my financial flow looked like. The solution was to create a folder with simple dividers: bills to pay, important documents, receipts, and warranties. I set aside a notebook specifically to track my monthly expenses and upcoming payments. I also reserved 1 day a week to organize my bills and check my bank statement. This organized corner helped me gain more clarity about how I was spending my money. And there's more. I developed the habit of keeping all purchase receipts for at least a month. This helped me identify unnecessary expenses and realize where I could save money. You'd be surprised at what we discover when we really pay attention to our consumption habits. But beyond these 3 main areas, there are other parts of the house that also affect our relationship with money and prosperity. Take the clothing closet, for example. How many items do you have that you never wear? They just take up space while you keep buying more. When I decided to organize my wardrobe following the Japanese lifestyle, it was a revealing moment. I took everything, absolutely everything, and put it on the bed. The mountain of clothes was overwhelming. I tried on each piece and was honest with myself. Do I really wear this? Does this make me feel good? Does this fit my current body? The clothes that I no longer wore, that didn't fit, or that didn't match my current style, I set aside for donation. Some were in great condition and could help others. The torn or heavily worn items went in the trash, and I was surprised to see how many clothes I had forgotten I owned and could start wearing again. I organized what was left by categories and colors. I folded the t-shirts in a way that allowed me to see all of them at once when I opened the drawer. I hung up the more delicate dresses and blouses, and I promised myself, for every new piece that came into the closet, an old one would have to go. This simple rule changed my relationship with shopping. In the past, I used to shop impulsively, often buying similar items that I already owned. Now, with everything visible and organized, I know exactly what I have and what I really need. My shopping has become more intentional, and my credit card appreciates it. The desk or workspace is another important aspect. Paper piled on top of paper, pens without caps, scattered clips, sticky notes everywhere. That was the reality of my desk. Along with the physical clutter came mental clutter. I couldn't concentrate properly. I lost important information, and I ended up working more hours than I needed to in order to make up for my lack of focus. I cleaned everything up and kept only the essentials on my desk. I organized documents into folders and created a system for incoming papers, what needs to be addressed today, and outgoing papers, what has already been resolved. I limited personal items to one or two that truly brought me joy, and I saw my productivity increase significantly. This organization helped me advance in my career, deliver projects on time, and have more free time. Time that I could use to invest in myself, learn new skills, and even develop a side income. A tidy desk created space for prosperity in my professional life. Another corner that seems insignificant but has a big impact is the bathroom. How many hygiene and beauty products do you have? How many of them are half-used, expired, or ones you don't even remember why you bought? When I organized my bathroom, I discovered I had 5 different moisturizers, all half full. I had shampoos that didn't work well for my hair, but I hadn't gotten rid of them. I did a radical cleanup. I threw away everything that was expired. I set aside items I no longer used, but were still good for donation. I promised to use up what I had before buying anything new. This helped me save a lot of money on beauty and hygiene products, and it also made the bathroom a much more pleasant and functional space. The laundry area, or the space where we keep cleaning products, also deserves attention. I used to buy different products for every type of surface, believing that this would keep my home cleaner. The result? A shelf full of bottles, many of which were used only once or twice. I drastically simplified things. I found out that a few basic products, like baking soda, vinegar, and a good all-purpose cleaner, solve most cleaning needs. I organized what was left in clear bins, labeled everything, and saved a lot of space and money. A place often overlooked but crucial for a feeling of financial control is the pantry. Impulse-bought food, opened packages that spoil because they've been forgotten at the back of the shelf, expired items that need to be thrown away. All of this represents wasted money. I reorganized my pantry by placing foods with the nearest expiration dates at the front. I created a simple labeling system and started doing a monthly inventory of what I had at home before going shopping. The result was a significant reduction in food waste and substantial savings at the grocery store. And we can't forget about the space where we keep paid bills and tax documents. For a long time, I would just throw everything into a box and only organize it when it was time to file my taxes, spending stressful hours looking for important receipts and proof of payment. I set up a simple filing system, organizing documents by year and category: health, education, housing, etc. For utility bills like water, electricity, and phone, I kept only the most recent month, unless there was a disputed charge I was contesting. This system saved me hours of work and stress when I needed to prove payments or file taxes. The garage or storage area is another space that, when disorganized, can drain your money. Tools that you end up repurchasing because you can't find the ones you already have. Broken items you hold on to thinking you'll fix them someday, but in reality, they just take up space. Boxes and more boxes of maybe I'll need this in the future. I faced this area head on. I sorted tools by type and frequency of use. I created a wall-mounted board to hang the ones I used most often. Small items like screws and nails were organized in labeled, clear jars. And most importantly, I was honest about what I really needed to keep and what was just clutter. I realized that many things I was holding on to just in case I need them someday, were items I could borrow from friends or rent on the rare occasions I actually needed them. Clearing that space gave me a feeling of lightness and helped me be more mindful of future purchases. The living room, a space where we spend a lot of our free time, also deserves special attention. The accumulation of old magazines, scattered remote controls, forgotten cups, and excessive decorative items not only makes the environment visually cluttered, but also complicates cleaning and maintenance. I reduced decorative items to only those that truly brought me joy when I looked at them. I created a specific place to store remote controls. I adopted the habit of quickly tidying up before bed by taking glasses to the kitchen and putting away misplaced items. These small daily actions prevented clutter from accumulating and made the living room a place where I really wanted to be. The bedroom, our personal sanctuary, is another space that directly impacts our sense of well-being and, by extension, our relationship with money. A cluttered bedroom with clothes strewn about, drawers that barely close because they're so full, and items accumulated under the bed creates a constant sense of disorder that follows us even when we leave the house. I simplified the bedroom by keeping only the essentials. I removed the TV and electronic devices, turning it into a true resting space. I cleared out the area under the bed, which made cleaning easier and improved air circulation. I kept the surfaces of the nightstands and dresser with only a few items, just what I used daily. This organization helped me sleep better, wake up more refreshed, and consequently have more energy and clarity to make good financial decisions throughout the day. Quality rest is worth much more than any material object we might accumulate. Another important aspect is the kitchen, not just the refrigerator and cabinets I already mentioned, but the whole space. Duplicate utensils, appliances we use once a year, and excess dishes. All of this takes up physical and mental space. I took an honest inventory of everything I really used in the kitchen. I donated sets of extra cutlery and dishes, keeping only what was enough for my family and a few occasional guests. I stored rarely used utensils, like special cake pans or very large pots, in less accessible places. With a more organized kitchen, cooking at home has become more practical and enjoyable. I've started bringing more meals to work and ordering delivery less, which has resulted in considerable savings by the end of the month. And we can't forget about digital clutter. Although they don't take up physical space, unread emails, disorganized files on the computer, and shopping apps on the phone can be major sources of impulse spending and financial disarray. I organized my email inbox by unsubscribing from newsletters from stores that tempted me to buy on impulse. I created specific folders to keep digital receipts. I uninstalled shopping apps that I frequently used during moments of boredom or anxiety. Plus, I established a personal rule to wait 24 hours before completing any online purchase that wasn't absolutely necessary. These digital changes, just like the physical ones, have had a direct impact on my ability to save and invest. When we reduce temptations and organize our finances, money naturally starts to accumulate instead of dissipating. A fundamental point on the road to a more organized home and a financially prosperous life is the practice of detachment. This goes far beyond simply throwing things away. It's a mindset shift about what we truly need to live well and be happy. I started by asking myself for each item, does this bring me joy or serve an important function in my current life? If the answer was no to both questions, it was time to say goodbye to that item. The process was challenging at first. There was emotional attachment to objects that represented memories. There was the thought of, I might need this someday. And mostly, there was the feeling of wastefulness for disposing of something that had cost money. But little by little, I realized that the real waste was keeping objects that no longer served me taking up physical and mental space. I understood that the memories were within me, not in the objects. Letting go of something I no longer used by donating it to someone who truly needed it was not wasteful, but rather a way to help that object fulfill its purpose instead of being forgotten in a drawer. As I practiced detachment, I noticed it became easier over time, and the most surprising part, the less I had, the less I wanted. My desire to consume naturally decreased when I stopped surrounding myself with so many things. Instead of seeking satisfaction from shopping, I began to value experiences, relationships, and moments of tranquility in an organized and welcoming space. Another important aspect is maintaining the organization I had achieved. It doesn't help to do a major cleanup and organization if everything goes back to how it was within a few weeks. The secret lies in small daily actions. I created simple routines: 10 minutes before bed to tidy up the living room, 5 minutes after showering to clean and organize the bathroom, and putting away my clothes as soon as I change instead of leaving them on the bed or chair. These small actions, when done consistently, prevent clutter from accumulating and make large periodic reorganizations unnecessary. I also set some clear boundaries. No accumulating mail, opening and resolving or discarding it the same day. No leaving dishes to wash the next day. And no buying new clothes or items without first checking what I already have and considering whether I really need it. These simple rules created a structure that helped me maintain the gains I had achieved from the initial major reorganization, and the sense of control over my space directly reflected in the sense of control over my finances. For those just starting on this journey of organization, my advice is start small. Don't try to reorganize the entire house all at once. Choose one of the corners I mentioned, the entryway, the kitchen, or the document space, and begin there. Celebrate the small victories and use that positive energy to keep moving forward. Keep in mind that organization doesn't mean perfection. It's not about having a home that looks like it came from a decor magazine. It's about creating a space that works for you and your family, one that makes your routine easier and promotes well-being and tranquility. The process of reorganizing your home according to principles of simplicity and functionality is ultimately a process of reorganizing your relationship with money and consumption. When we free ourselves from excess, we make room not only in our homes, but also in our minds and our lives for what truly matters. In the 3 key areas I mentioned, the entryway, the kitchen, and the space for financial documents, as well as all the other spaces I organized, the change went far beyond physical appearance. It was a transformation in the way I related to what I own, what I desire, and what I truly need. And perhaps this is the greatest lesson I've learned. Prosperity is not about having a lot, but about having enough and knowing how to value and care for what you have. When we organize our homes with awareness and intention, we are actually organizing our entire lives, including our finances. The 3 areas of your home that may be blocking your prosperity are gateways to a much larger transformation. They are the first step toward a simpler, more mindful, and paradoxically, more abundant life. Because true abundance is not about quantity, but about the quality of what we choose to keep in our lives. So, where will you start? Share this blessed video so it can touch and help other people like you and me. Don't forget to click the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for being part of our faith community. If you would like to support our channel a bit more, consider becoming a member. I'm leaving 2 more videos here for you to continue your search. Thank you, and may God bless you all. See you soon.